Hello everyone and welcome. Thank you so much for joining me for this yoga practice. I'm really excited to share it with you all. So this yoga practice is going to be dedicated to bringing relief to stress and anxiety. So I don't know about you, but I've been feeling pretty anxious lately. So I just wanted to make a practice really focused on soothing and slowing down our nervous system and helping us ground our energy and reconnect with our body. So that's what this 30 to 40 minute practice is going to be all about. If you do have yoga blocks, they can come in handy, but don't worry, they're not necessary. If you wanted to gather up a few cushions to sit on when we're sitting cross-legged as well, that could be really nice just to support you here. So just gathering up whatever you need, and then we'll get started. And we're going to get started seated in a cross-legged position. Now you can extend your legs in front of you instead if having the legs crossed doesn't feel fantastic, or maybe you want to sit up on your couch or a chair for this part of the class. Just make sure you're nice and comfortable. And then we're going to bring our hands onto our knees to really cultivate more of a grounded, kind of rooted, earthed energy. You can close your eyes here if that feels good to you, or maybe you just soften the gaze, starting to draw your attention inwards. Sitting up here nice and tall with the shoulders stacking above the hips. It might even feel like you're leaning backwards a little bit. Rolling the shoulders down the back so the heart space is nice and open. Really feeling your sitting bones rooting into the surface beneath you now. And from there, feeling a long line of energy rising up from the tailbone to the crown of the head as you sit up, nice and tall, long spine. Starting to guide your breath a little bit deeper here now. Noticing if maybe the breath was beginning and ending in the chest. And just guiding it nice and slowly down and out of the belly. Noticing if maybe the mind is wandering or feels a little busy. And just gently guiding it back to the present moment with loving acceptance. You could even have the intention of drawing your energy back to your body. So you could have a visualization of like how your energy is attached onto different parts of your day, whether that be work, people you talk to, other encounters, and you could just kind of cut that connection and just draw all of your energy back to yourself and back to your body, coming into complete presence here. Keep breathing deep. And then from there, we'll do some counted breath work. We're going to inhale through the nose for the count of 4. Exhale out through the nose for the count of 7. So we're extending our exhales longer than our inhales to help switch our nervous system into rest and digest mode. By extending those exhales longer, we're signaling to our body that we're safe and that it's safe for us to switch into that rest and digest mode. So let's begin. Exhaling all the air out of the body. And in, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One more, counting for yourself. When you're ready, we'll start to bring some gentle movement into the body now. So on the inhale, you're just going to tuck your chin to your chest, still sitting up nice and tall, stretching out the back of the neck. Exhaling here. One more breath. From there, bringing the head back to a neutral position, we're just going to look over to the right and take one breath here. Looking over to the left now. One deep and slow belly breath. And then bringing the head back to the center. This time we're just going to reach your chin up towards the ceiling. So you're stretching out the front of your neck now. You could even bring one hand to your chest, followed by the other, and just apply a little bit of downward pressure. See how that feels. One more breath. And then slowly gazing forward, you can bring your hands back to your knees. We're going to tuck that chin back to your chest, and this time roll the right ear around so it stacks now on top of the right shoulder. Stretching into the left side of your neck. Maybe you even bring the left fingertips down beside you. Feel how that changes the stretch. Maybe allowing it to journey further into the shoulder and even down the left arm. Breathing deeply. And then left hand comes back to left knee, rolling your chin back to center and then all the ways over so that the left ear is parallel to the left shoulder now. And just notice if maybe the shoulders are kind of hugging up around the ears and just allowing them to gently drop back down. You could bring the right arm out beside you, coming onto the right fingertips, intensifying the stretch here. One more breath into the right side of your neck. And then slowly bringing the right hand back to the right knee. Chin rolls back to chest. And then you can use 2 fingers to just gently lift your forehead up so that your head stacks on the shoulders. We're going to get into our shoulders a little bit now. So for this, we're going to bring our hands onto our shoulders and we're going to make nice big circles here. So inhaling, the elbows come to touch. Exhaling, the wrists touch each other and then the shoulders roll down. Inhale. Exhale, wrist reaching towards each other. Exhale, rolling down. Once more, inhale. And then exhale. Starting to roll it forward now, so keep the movement nice and slow and in sync with your breath. And then from there, you can bring your hands back onto your knees. And on the inhale, this time we're going to squeeze our shoulders up towards our ears. And then exhale, letting them fall down, maybe even with a little bit of a bounce. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale, squeeze the shoulders up. Exhale, release. You could side out through the mat. Last one, inhale. Exhale. On your next inhale, we're going to reach our arms up to the sky, interlace the fingers and turn the palms to face the ceiling. Nice big elongated stretch through the spine here. 2 breaths, reaching long. One more breath. And then we're going to let go of the hold of the fingers and we're just going to start to bring our arms nice and slowly down, but we're going to roll our wrists out on the way down. So rolling through those wrists. Inhale, bringing your arms back up, but rolling the wrists the other way. Exhale, back down, rolling the wrist in the opposite direction once more. And then we'll roll them back the other way. Bring our arms up. Big reach here. Inhale. And this time on the exhale, the right hand comes down beside your right glute, reaching over to the right. So big side body to the left with the left palm facing down. We'll go for 2 breaths here, opening up our left side body. Make sure your chest isn't kind of collapsing inwards, rather it's nice and open. And then reach back up to center, inhaling long and tall through the spine. Exhaling, left hand comes back down beside you, big side body stretch to the right now. You could even imagine a big line of energy going all the way from the right fingertips to the left hip. 1 more breath here. And inhale, reaching both arms up. Exhale, bringing your arms down beside you. And we're going to do a little bit of tapping onto our sternum, onto our chest, onto our heart center. So you can just use your fingers and just start to tap here in the center of your chest. We often store a lot of anxiety and tension and stress in the chest. So it can feel really nice to just start to tap here and imagine like you're almost breaking up that anxiety. And just keep breathing deeply. Two more breaths here. You could even kind of move it down and around and over a little bit. Maybe you find a spot that it feels really nice to just gently tap on. One more breath. Now we're going to do some havening. So this is another really nice technique for just soothing our nervous system, making us feel safe, and just helping to really kind of bring down that anxiety. So for this, you're just gonna bring your hands on top of your arms. So it's like you're holding one elbow with your right arm and one elbow with your left arm. Then you're just gonna start to swipe across, coming to the tips of the fingers, swipe back all the ways up the arms and then across the chest. That's a really important part. And then back down. You can close your eyes here. We're just going to go for another couple of rounds, doing it nice and slowly, allowing this self-touch to just soothe your body and your mind. One more time. And then when you're finished that round, we're going to make our way onto a tabletop position. So onto all fours. So the hands are going to stack underneath the shoulders. The knees are going to be under your hips. Nice wide table. And we'll do some cat-cows to just wake our spine up a little bit here. So syncing your breath to your movement. Inhale, dropping the belly towards the mat, gazing forward for cow. Exhale, you're rounding through the spine, tucking your chin to your chest, doming out the upper back, cat. Inhale, belly drops, tailbone untucks, gazing forward. Exhale, other way, rounding through the spine, tucking that tailbone, chin to chest. Push the ground away with your hands and knees. Once more, inhale. And exhale. And then coming back to that neutral tabletop position. And we're going to do a thread the needle now. So for this, on the inhale, you're going to reach your right arm up to the sky. You can even gaze up at the right fingertips. Thread the right arm underneath the left. Let your right shoulder and the right side of your face rest on the mat. So we're coming into a spinal twist here. You could keep the left hand beside your face, or maybe you walk it out in front of you. And then you can start to open into the left shoulder a little bit. 2 more breaths here. Keep the hips stacking above the knees. Notice if the hips kind of sway off center. Last breath. And then we'll bring our left hand back beside our face. Push into the left hand. Inhale, reach the right arm back up. Exhale, right hand comes down. We'll do that on the other side. So inhale, left arm reaches up. And then exhale, thread the needle over to the right. See what positioning of the right hand works for you. Maybe you reach it long. Keep those hips stacking above the knees for a nice spinal twist. 2 breaths here. And then bringing the right hand back beside your face. Inhale to push into the right arm. Lift your left arm up. Exhale, left hand comes back. And we'll do a puppy pose now, just to get into our shoulders a little bit more. So keeping the knees, hips width distance apart here. And then trying to keep the hips stacked above the knees. You're walking your hands about another good bit ahead of you. Your pointer fingers are parallel. Your hands are shoulder width distance apart. And then you're just going to start to drop your head and your chest towards the mat. Now you can bring a block under the head or maybe some cushions or pillows if the ground feels a little bit far away. That can be really beneficial because it is quite a deep chest and heart opener. So using whatever props you feel called to use. And we'll be here for 4 breaths now. Breathing deeply, opening into the heart space, opening into your shoulders. Last breath. To come out of this, pull your belly button up and in. Use your core to lift you up as you push your hands into the ground. Walking the hands back underneath our shoulders. And we'll come to our first and probably our only downward facing dog. So for this, from tabletop, hands are going to walk about another hand's width distance ahead of you. Pointer fingers parallel, fingers spread wide. Push the ground away with your hands. Feel your shoulders become really active here. Toes tuck under, knees lift up. Shoot your hips up and back behind you. Reaching the tailbone to the sky. You can let your head hang heavy. Gazing in between the feet. You can stay on stillness or you could start to walk out the dog here. 2 more breaths. Last breath. One more breath here. And then on your next inhale, you can just start to walk or tippy toe into a forward fold at the front of your mat. We'll do a bent knee version, so nice bend in your knee. You can hold on to opposite elbows, let the head hang heavy. Let your spine be really decompressed and elongated here as gravity allows it to release. 3 breaths. Last breath. And then letting go of the hold on opposite elbows with bent knees. We're rolling vertebrae by vertebrae all the ways up to standing. Your head is the very last thing to rise up. We're going to inhale, reach your arms up to the sky. And then exhale, fold forward. And this time on the inhale, coming to a halfway lift, your hands can rise up the shins. And then exhale, bringing your hands to the mat. We're going to step our right leg to the back of the mat and drop the right knee down. So we're in a low lunge on our left side. Now you can use your blocks here, bringing them to the outside of your left foot, whatever works for you. Just opening up into our right quad and our right hip flexor here. Gazing forward, 2 more breaths. From there, you could always stay here if you'd like. We're going to start to pick our torso up and stack it above our hips. We'll inhale, reach your arms up to the sky. You can interlace your fingers here and then start to take Kali Mudra. So for this, you're going to interlace all of the fingers, Accept your pointer finger reaching up. Maybe you gaze up at the ceiling a little bit. 2 breaths here. And then slowly bringing your hands back to the ground or the blocks. And we're going to bring our left arm and our left hand inside the left foot for lizard. Walking your left foot out nice and wide, coming into lizard lunge. You can switch up the level of the blocks. You could even come to the forearms, choosing an option that feels best for your body here. And we'll take 2 breaths here in our lizard lunge, getting deeper into the right quad and the right hip flexor. And of course, opening up even more into our left hip. One more breath. And then slowly we'll come into a twist from here. So planting the right hand into the block or the ground, twisting your torso towards the left. You can bring your left hand onto the left leg. Maybe you gaze over the left shoulder. And if it's available for you, you could see if maybe you could bend into the right knee and reach your left arm back to hold onto the right foot. But no need to force it, only if it happens naturally. One more breath. And then nice and slowly making your way out of that. So from here, we're going to tuck our back toes under. We're going to lift the back knee up off the mat, and then we're going to see if we can step the right foot to the outside of the right hand or maybe behind the right wrist for a yogi squat. Sinking your hips down low now. Knees are open wide. Don't worry if your heels aren't touching the mat. They don't need to. You can keep your hands on the mat to support you, or you could bring the hands into prayer position, pushing the knees gently into the elbows against the knees. 3 breaths here in our yogi squat, opening up into our hips, releasing our low back. On the next breath, we're going to bring our hands onto the mat and just start to straighten your legs. Walk your feet back together. Feet are hips width distance apart. And we're folding forward once more. This time, it's up to you. You can keep the legs a little straighter. You can have the hands dangling down, resting on the mat. Or maybe you interlock your elbows here, holding onto opposite elbows. We'll take 3 breaths this side as well. And they could be nice releasing ones where you sigh it out through the mouth. And if that feels good to you. One more breath. And then with nice bent knees, letting go on the hold on the elbows, rolling vertebrae by vertebrae, all the ways up to standing. The head is the very last thing to come up. Once we arrive, we'll inhale, reach your arms up, maybe you look up. Exhale, folding forward, hinging from the hips. Inhale, halfway lift, hands slide up the shins. This time, exhale, planting the hands into the mat. We're going to step the left leg to the back and drop our left knee down. So low lunge on the right side now. You can use your blocks here if you'd like. We're just opening into our left hip flexor and our left quad. Gazing forward, heart space nice and open, smiling collarbones. One more breath. You can stay here, or you can start to pick yourself up and come into a little bit of a heart opener. We'll reach your arms up to the sky, interlacing all of the fingers except the pointer fingers, coming into your powerful Kali Mudra here, reaching the arms up to the sky. Maybe you look up. One more breath. Bringing your hands back to the ground or your blocks, and then your right hand and your right elbow come inside the right knee. Walk the right foot out nice and wide for lizard lunge. So you can rearrange your blocks. You can rearrange your arms to either hands on the mat or maybe forearms, whatever works best for your body. Getting into your right hip a lot more now. One more nice long breath here. And we'll take our twist. So your left hand can plant into your block or the ground. You twist your torso towards the right. You can bring your right hand onto the right knee, twisted lizard. If it's available to you and if you feel like it's going to be beneficial for you, you can bend into your left knee and maybe hold onto the left foot with the right hand. One more breath here. And then slowly releasing that, bringing the right hand back around. This time we're just going to pick your hips up a little bit and then we'll step the right knee back to meet the left. We'll make our way onto our belly now in whatever way works for us. So just coming to lie down here. And we're going to do some cobra rolls. So for this, we're going to do a wide arm cobra roll. So the feet are hips width distance apart. Coming onto the fingertips here. Bringing the hands nice and wide so they're even off your mat and they're in line with your shoulders. If someone was to look head on at you, you're making the letter W. So gently just pushing into the fingers, squeezing your shoulder blades together, starting to lift up as you gaze forward. Exhale, release. 2 more times. Inhale, rising, opening the heart, opening the chest. Exhale, releasing. Last one, inhale. And exhale. This time we'll take a Sphinx. So you're bringing your elbows under the shoulders now. And then you could interlace the fingers, or you could have the hands flat on the mat with the palms face down. Gazing forward. If this feels like too much compression in the low back, you can always walk the elbows a little bit further forward here. So just check in with your body, what feels best for you. We'll be here for 4 breaths. And you could create a little bit of friction here between you and your mat, which just allows your chest to pull a little bit further forward. So just using the friction of your mat and your elbows, pulling your elbows back towards the knees to pull your chest through. And it's a very subtle movement, but it does make a big difference to how this posture feels. 2 more breaths. Letting your elbows open nice and wide. You could stack one hand on top of the other, rest your forehead on your hands. Just releasing that for a moment. You could even wiggle the hips a little bit side to side. And then we'll bring our hands underneath our hips, or not your hips, sorry, hands under your shoulders, tuck your toes under, push up to tabletop and all the way back to a child's pose. So it could be nice to take a nice wide-legged child's pose, so with the big toes touching, the knees open wide, and then just walking your hands out in front of you. And we'll just take 2 breaths here. And then slowly coming up and out of that, we're just going to let our hips kind of come off to the side, and we'll extend our legs out in front of us now. Let's come into a cobbler pose. So soles of the feet come to touch, knees open wide here. Make sure that you're not rolling back onto your tailbone. If you're on the tailbone, that means your pelvis is pointing backwards. And then you're going to be trying to like fold forward. So your pelvis and your spine are going to be working against each other, moving in the wrong direction. So you want to be up on sitting bones. So whether that means you have to sit up on blocks to achieve this or cushions, do what you need to do. That way our pelvis is pointing forward. And when we go to fold forward, our spine and our pelvis work together to move in the same direction. So inhale, reaching tall through the crown of the head. Exhale, folding as far as feels good. Nice straight spine here. You could let the hands rest anywhere on the feet, or maybe walk them out in front of you. 4 breaths here. Last breath. Nice, and slowly rising up and out of that, we'll extend our right leg long. Bring the left sole of the foot inside the right thigh. We're taking Janu Sirsasana. Inhale, reaching your arms up to the sky. Exhale, folding forward, thinking long spine as you fold forward. You can let the hands rest anywhere on the ground or anywhere on the leg. 4 breaths here. Opening into our right hamstring, into our low back, our left hip, releasing our spine. 1 more breath. And then slowly rising up and out of your Janu Sirsasana. We'll take a twist. So the left sole of the foot is going to plant into the mat now, with the left knee pointing up to the ceiling. Make sure that you have about a hand's width distance apart from your right thigh and your left knee. We'll bring our left hand back behind us here to act as a kickstand for a nice straight elongated spine. Inhale, reach your right arm up to the sky. Exhale, twist towards the left knee, and then you can give yourself a little bit of a hug here. So wrapping the right elbow around the left knee. Maybe you gaze over your left shoulder. Two more breaths. And then slowly coming back to center. We'll do that on the other side, coming into Janu on the right. So right sole of the foot comes in line with the left thigh. Your left toes are flexing back towards you the whole time, so your left leg is active. Inhale, reach the arms up to the ceiling. Exhale, folding forward here. Let your hands rest anywhere that works for you. Noticing if maybe this side feels a little different from the other. Mine definitely does. and that's very normal. 2 more breaths here. And then slowly rising up and out of that, coming to the twist. So the right sole of the foot is firmly planted into the mat, hands with distance apart from the left thigh. We're going to bring the right hand back behind us to act as like a kickstand here. Think straight spine. So we don't want to be kind of leaning back like this. Rather, we're reaching the spine up to the sky. We'll inhale, reach our left arm upwards. And then as you exhale, give your right knee a little bit of a hug, twist over to the right. Maybe you gaze at the right, over the right shoulder. 2 breaths here in your seated twist. Maybe you use your core to twist you a little bit deeper. And then coming back to center when you're ready. Both legs extended in front of you now. And we'll just do a forward fold. So Paschimottanasana. Inhale, reaching your arms up to the sky here. Exhale, folding forward. So you could think of this as like reaching your belly button like over a little wall in front of you. So it's a nice straight spine that you're folding forward with. Once you fold it nice and straight from the low back and the mid back, you can let your upper back and your head relax. Hands can rest anywhere that works for you. And again, your toes are flexing back towards your face. 4 breaths here. Elongating your spine, releasing your spine, releasing the low back, opening into our hamstrings. And if this feels very difficult for you, that's extremely normal. 2 things you can do. You can bend the knees here just to allow you fold a little bit further forward. Or you can sit up on your cushions or your blocks just to help with that tilting forward of your hips, of your pelvis. Or you could do both together. That would be better again. 2 more breaths. And then slowly we'll make our way up and out of that. And we're going to come to lie down on your back. So whatever way you can get there, taking your time to make your way down to your back. Just allowing your pelvis and your hips to settle into the floor. And from here, because we just did a lot of forward folding and spinal flexion, we're just going to take a bridge pose to kind of counteract that and to bring our spine into extension. So for this, we're bending into our knees, planting our feet hips width distance apart. Arms come down beside you with the palms face down. So we're going to push into our heels, start to lift our glutes up off the mat. Knees are reaching towards the top of the mat and chest is reaching towards your chin. You can push your arms and hands into the mat here to help you. And we're just going to take about another 4 breaths here. Keep reaching the hips to the ceiling, reaching the knees to the front of your mat and the chest to the back of your mat. So as your hips reach up, your spine is really elongating here as well. Just 1 more breath. And slowly lowering your hips down. Soles of the feet are going to come to touch. Your knees are opening wide. Reclined cobbler. Hands can simply rest on the belly, or maybe you want to reach the arms up overhead and hold on to opposite elbows. Four breaths here. Opening your hips, releasing your inner thighs. Two more breaths. Bringing the hands to the outside of the knees, just closing the knees back together. Coming to a happy baby now. So bringing the knees in towards your chest. You're going to give yourself a hug here with the arms. Then you're going to let the knees and the feet come nice and wide, like they're wrapping around your side body here, reaching the knees towards your armpits. You could definitely stay here, or if you'd like, you can start to bring the soles of the feet to face upwards. Maybe you hold behind the thighs, onto the ankles, or wherever works for you. 4 deep breaths here in happy baby. One more breath. Then rebending into the knees, bringing your legs back together. So we're going to finish the class in legs up the wall. So if you don't have like a free kind of empty wall nearby, you could always put your legs up like your bed, or even your couch if the couch is nearby. So just find somewhere that can help you have your feet above your head. So for this, you scoot in super close in a little bit of like an egg shape towards the wall. And then once you get in your hips as close to the wall as you can, you just swivel around and then bring your legs up the wall here. So your legs can be really relaxed here. Your feet can just kind of fall outward naturally, whatever way your body works. Your hands can rest on your belly. They could rest out to the sides. And we're just going to breathe here. You could even bring back the inhaling for 4, exhaling for 7 that we did at the beginning of the class. Relaxing your forehead, relaxing your jaw, relax your whole face. Keep breathing deeply and doing your counted breath work here if that feels good to you. And I'm going to leave you here. I recommend that you stay for as long as you can, at least a couple of minutes or maybe longer. Thank you so much for practicing with me. I hope that you enjoyed that practice, and I hope that maybe you feel a little bit lighter or a little bit more at ease in your body after that. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful to you as always.